Good morning. How are you all on this lovely Thursday? Summer has actually started in Portland, which is so awesome. It's so started that we're going to have a crazy weather this weekend, right? Okay, so just making sure everything is working this time. Cool. So today we're talking about selling your business. So, when you're ready to sell, you want your business to be ready too. Oftentimes, when we're ready to sell our businesses, we know what we want out of the sale, or we think we know what we want out of the sale. But oftentimes, we haven't really figured out what the buyer wants from the sale. What is it that they want from us? And for most of us, when we do have that conversation, we think that the answer is simply they want a copy of our financial records, a list of assets, all of the financial stuff. And I hate to burst your bubble, but it just isn't enough. So today we're going to cut through the confusion and get to the heart of the matter. I'm going to walk you through the main points of exactly what needs to be in place so that you can sell your company with confidence and peace of mind. If you're here live, and I see that there are some people who are here live, please say hello. You know how I much prefer having a conversation than just talking into the ether. So say hi, whoever's out there. Also, if you're live and this is a conversation that is pertaining to you and you're thinking about selling your business, let me know. Let's talk about the things that are actually of concern to you. If you are watching the replay, let me know that too. Hey, Jana, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. I love it when you come because I know that you're, in Italy, and that makes me feel so international. Anyway, hi. So if you're watching the replay, let me know that as well. And of course, if you also are considering selling your business and you have concerns, you have specific questions, put those in the comments, and I will. Hi, whoever's from LinkedIn for some reason doesn't say your name. I'm thinking that it might be Molly, but I don't know. Anyway, if you're watching the replay, put those in because I will definitely come back and answer them. And I have an amazing community of business owners who oftentimes will jump in and answer questions too, things that I hadn't even thought of. So make sure that you put them in the chat or not in the chat. Hi, Sandra. Nice to see you. Okay, so as always, if you want the notes for this particular show, let me know, and we'll get them to you as soon as they're ready. It usually takes my team about a week and a half, and then I'll send them directly to your message box, whether you're watching me on Facebook or you're watching me on LinkedIn or wherever it is. You'll get them in your messenger box, okay, your message box. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. So selling means knowing more than just what your business is worth financially. And if you're not sure where to start or what to do, it's totally okay because most business owners have never been through the process before. And so I want to give you some ideas of some things that you can do to get ready. So it's the thing that I always want to tell people too is it's kind of like selling your house. I don't know if you've ever tried to sell your house or sold your house or whatever. But, when you sell your house, you get it all ready and to be exactly the way you wanted it. And then right before you sell it, you're like, this is my dream house now. I don't want somebody else to live here. I wish I could live here now that all the paint is done and everything's repaired and it looks so perfect, right? Well, the same thing goes for your business. So I'm here. I want to encourage you to set your business up in the best way possible. So yes, of course you can sell it, but so that you can have the business that you always wanted before you sell it. Don't do it for somebody else, do it for you. But whether you do that or not, I get it. But if you're going to sell it, you have to do these things. Okay. So I want you to know too, that you can go online to Google and you can Google any number of selling your business checklists, and they focus on all the paperwork that you need and all of the nitty gritty, those details in great detail. So we're not going to talk about those things as much. I want to focus on the pieces of setting up your business for the sale that make it ready and attractive to a buyer. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to say is make sure, that you're building a comprehensive client database or using a CRM that tracks all of your contacts, all of your conversations, where you are with all of those people, both potential clients, past clients, current clients, all of that, okay? Because possibly the main reason somebody is going to buy another business, especially a service business, is for the existing loyal customers who come back over and over again. Some of us, let me just say some of my clients, sometimes haven't actually collected their client names, their customer names in a database system where they have really good access to them. So if that's you, it's fine. You haven't done it yet, but you're going to start, and you're going to collect addresses, emails. You're going to set up what I call a touch plan so that there's a systematic way in which you reach out and maintain and build relationships with your clients and customers over time, and that's all documented, okay? When you go to sell your business, you want to be able to demonstrate that a large portion of your sales comes from both new clients, but also happy repeat customers, right? It adds so much value to the new owner, knowing that there's a revenue stream that's likely going to continue after they buy it, because you have this base of people that love what it is that you sell. And so we'll follow the product, we'll follow the service, not based on you, but based on what it is you're selling. Does that make sense? So make sure that you have really good records about not only about your customers and your both current and past and future, but that you have documented conversations and you know what those relationships are all about. Okay, 2, develop an operating manual. Okay, this is something that at the core of it, I spend a ton of time working on with my clients. What is an operating manual? So an operating manual increases the value of your business because what it does is it documents everything you do in your business, including the workflows, which is how a customer goes from their first interaction with your business all the way through how they move through your business, whether it's from buying a product or the service or project oriented, all the way to when they become a past client and they enter your client acquisition system on the other end. So a workflow, it documents guidelines, policies, procedures, protocols, all of the things that it takes to effectively run your business is what an operating manual is. And when you have one, it helps your business stand out as a turnkey operation. The idea that somebody could purchase a business with no history in the industry in which you are, like they could buy the business as simply as a business decision, and because they have the operating manual, they can follow it and make it run well. Okay, so this is where standard operating procedures or SOPs come into the picture, which is, for, as I think I've mentioned before here, is, the most boring part of being in business ever is creating SOPs and documenting SOPs and updating SOPs. Like it can be so tedious. But the thing to try to keep in mind is that doing that tedious work makes such a difference, both in just the long-term running of your business. If you decide never to sell and just keep your business forever, it allows you to step away more from daily operations, to know that even if you lose team members, that whoever comes in as a new member of the team, can pick up where things were left off and get on the same page quickly, easily, just from having access to your standard operating procedures, right? I always want to make sure that the owner of a business knows that when you're creating this operating manual, you're not just creating it for around the team that you have, not just around the team you have presently, right? You want to make sure that you're creating standard operating procedures for all the work that you do, each task, each role that you play in the business, the things that you do that keep the business running, and that you're looking ahead to seeing what roles there might be in the future and preparing the groundwork of procedures and protocols for those kinds of jobs. What will they be doing? Why are you considering hiring those particular positions and roles, so that you have really a comprehensive operating manual that when you go to sell your business, literally you can just hand it over. Somebody said to me this week, the best way to think about how to write an operating manual and all the pieces that go into it is you can think about it. Imagine that you are turning your business into a franchise, right? That you're trying to franchise your business. And so you have to document every little piece of it because you're going to duplicate it exactly. So keep that in mind. So that's really, really important. And, I almost said, I don't want to harp on this, but I really do want to harp on this. Hi, Marta. Thank you. It's so good to see you. So, when you're thinking about or making sure that you are writing out the procedures for all aspects of your business, think about the details of how work is carried out in terms of invoicing, shipping. What kind of marketing tactics are you using? Which ones work the best? Which ones have you tried that haven't worked? How do you keep your best customers, and how do you keep them coming back? How do you stay in touch with them? How do you market to them? How do you sell to them? Any systems that you've created or developed for efficiency and productivity, right? The way, I don't know, I'm just thinking about my clients. I have one client who owns a online clothing company, and she gets in orders, and then there's all the inventory, there's packing it up, there's photographing it for all the social media, right? There's all these different parts. And when she moves warehouses, which she's done a couple of times, the first thing that has to happen is figuring out the flow of how the order flows through the warehouse, for instance. Like where do the tables go? Where are the different departments? How do we set this up to make it the most efficient? That map, that warehouse map, if you have that kind of a business, needs to go in your operating manual. And so, and there, of course, we all have different kinds of businesses. There are, if you have a brick and mortar, or like as I just pointed out, perhaps an online business that requires a warehouse with shipping, that also includes housing inventory or taking photographs for social media. Or maybe you have a service business that you just do out of your house, even if it's just, if you don't have an office and you have a totally remote crew. All of those procedures needs to be documented for a buyer. I think that I hit that one pretty hard. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Okay. So the first one, I'm just going to go back and remind you. So the first one was build a comprehensive client database or CRM. The second one is develop an operating manual. Okay. The third one, this is financial. So have all of your accounts up to date and accurate. Because you need to be able to show a real presentation of sales, profits, and expenses. So your accounts, your numbers need to show a well-run business, which includes access to financial information on both a daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis. instead of just like end of year P&Ls and balance sheets, like you need to show all of it. Buyers and potential buyers are going to be really interested in the last few years of your accounts, particularly sales and profit figures, because what they're looking for is business performance. They're looking to analyze and to determine whether your performance is trending up. Like, what can they expect once they purchase it? They want to know about future profitability. They want to see how often it takes to go through your inventory and how often it turns over, how often do you have to replace things. The past results are the only evidence that you have of sales. We can't tell the future. So they're basing all their decisions on what has already happened. So the clearer and more comprehensive you are in keeping your books, sorry, I take a medication that makes me cough. And when I start talking, my body's like, okay, now's a good time to cough. So anyway, okay. So keeping your books the cleanest and the most up to date that you can is super important. And I think I've said it before. I will always say it, one of the very first positions in your company to outsource is bookkeeper. And when you outsource a bookkeeper, you need to always make sure that you have found somebody that has integrity, that knows exactly what they're doing, understands how to address the way the numbers, the way the money flows in and out of your business. And when you are hiring a bookkeeper or a CPA, anybody that has to do with money and financials in your business, I always say the best way to do that is to get referrals from people that you trust, find out what they really like about these people, but also ask them the hard questions like what hasn't been working with these people. I personally think that finding the best bookkeepers and CPAs is probably one of the hardest positions to fill in a business. Lucky for me, I have a really good Rolodex. So if you want some referrals, just reach out to me. Okay. Okay. So your numbers, this is the piece that we all think this is the only thing that matters are the books. And while, of course, it's not the only thing that matters, it's really important that you have them straight, and you want to make sure that you hire professionals to do it. One of the things that will happen when you're selling too is that you're going to want your company to be valued by somebody who has experience valuating businesses specifically for sale. Your accountant is going to offer to do it. And I am going to tell you that while many people do it that way, that I personally think that it makes so much more sense to actually hire a separate person whose expertise is in valuing companies for sale, who doesn't have an agenda with your books, has not seen them before, so they don't have an already thought process about how your books look. We all know how that is, right? It's kind of similar when you write a letter, when you've written a report before and then you're proofreading it. If you're proofreading your own work, you're always going to miss the mistakes because your brain is taking into account the things that it believes are on that piece of paper. The same thing is true with your book. So if you're getting ready to sell, I can't encourage you enough to hire somebody who specifically evaluates companies that has no attachment or no prior knowledge of your books. Okay, fresh eyes. Fresh eyes. That's what's important here. Okay, so that was 3. 4, you want to build your team while before you're getting ready to sell. And I always think from the idea of selling to actually finding buyers, getting valuated, all that, there needs to be a space of like 2 to 3 years. Okay, because you need to build your team and delegate the work in ways that so that your business is not personality driven. It doesn't, it's so important that your business not depend on your personality, your specific brain to make it successful. So you have to build a team that is smarter than you and has expertise in the things that need to get done in your business that you're good at, but they're better at. You have to build a team that you trust, that you're willing to allow them to make decisions, because in the end, you're not going to be there. So you're training them on how to make decisions that are the best decisions for the company in the long term. And, people are going to make mistakes. And so then it's kind of like when you have kids, you teach them how to make decisions about their life. And of course, your employees are not your children. And if that's the way it came across, I'm really sorry. That's not what I meant. But you want to allow people, trust people to know what they're doing, and then allow them to make decisions, be aware that they're going to make mistakes, and then be willing to teach them how, if they made a mistake, why that's a mistake, what the thinking process is behind how to make that decision in a better way, and go from there. But most importantly, the whole point of this is to build a team that the company can count on, that doesn't require you, okay? This is probably one of the hardest pieces for business owners to really get and to take on, because so much of the things we do as business owners, right? We started the business from the beginning. So many of the things that we do without thinking. We are jumping steps in our head. That knowledge lives inside our brain. And oftentimes the way we bring in clients or the way we serve our clients is based on our personality. It's based on us. And a business cannot function going forward if its service delivery, if its client acquisition is based on your personality. So you have to find the ways to separate yourself out. And then once you've done that, and this is the piece where I always say, do this before you sell it, because this is the icing on the cake about owning a business, is when you can get yourself out of the daily operation so your business can function on the operational side with oversight, but not with your participation, heavy participation. Then you can go on to rekindle the visionary creative part of your brain that brought you to being the business owner in the first place. That's the juice here, right? That allows you to innovate. It allows you those flights of fancy that bring out of the box solutions, which are exciting and creative and give you the juice that is the fun part of owning a business. Not to mention the fact that when you get to this place, you actually become a CEO leading their company. You become a person who owns a business inside a multifaceted life, instead of a person whose entire life is their business. This is where freedom lies, in case you were wondering. This is the piece that is so crucial to having the life that you wanted when you started your business in the first place, whether you sell your business or not. Okay, so 5. The truth is, selling your business is complicated. There's a lot more pieces to this than I've already mentioned, right? There, aside from all of the financials and aside from the operating manual and the way that you're thinking about it, one of my clients brought up totally accurately that when you're selling your business and you're looking for potential buyers, because it turns out that 50% of people who sell their businesses do it on their own without a broker. And if you're doing it on your own without a broker, you're the one who has to identify potential buyers. You're the one who has to figure out how to sell it and who to sell it to, and do that legwork. So you want to make sure that the person who you're selling it to is on the up and up, that you're actually going to get what they promise. So you want to make sure that you do background checks and that you really understand who you're in business with to both protect yourself and protect your business. So that's important. Personally, I don't know everything. I know that's surprising. But I hadn't even thought of that. And that's really true, right? So there's some complicated pieces. So with complication, what comes along with that is having a team of people who have your back. You really want to start to figure out who the players are going to be that are on your team when it comes to selling your business. So at least to start off with, at the face of it, the people that you need a bookkeeper, you need a CPA, you need a valuation expert, you may or may not need a broker, depending on what it is that you are considering, how you want to sell your business. You definitely need an attorney to go over all of the contracts to make sure that you are protected, the business is protected, everything is on the up and up, everything is legal. And personally, I think that you need a coach to walk you through the shifts in the way that you have to think of your business in relationship to yourself in order to sell it, and not trigger all those pieces of yourself buried under the surface that are like, it's mine, or any of that stuff. So having a coach is important, also to keep you accountable, to make sure that you are doing it one step at a time, etc. So those are the things that just at the surface are important when it comes to selling your business. And I think there are so many reasons or ways you get to the place that you want to sell your business, right? I mean, some of my clients, they're tired. They want to go do something different. I've had clients who are getting ready to sell their business because they want to retire. I've had clients who want to sell their business because they're just done, like they don't want to do it anymore. So there's loads of reasons. Some people want to sell their business because they want to get a job and they want the influx of cash. I don't know. There's so many different scenarios, right? But for whatever scenario you have, whatever reasoning you have for selling your business, just know that it's going to take time. It's going to take forethought to think ahead and start setting up the infrastructure as soon as possible. It's going to be a little bit more complicated than you think, but that it's all of it is easily worked outable. So that's not even a word, but I know that you know what I mean. Especially more so when you have somebody walking by your side. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about it, or if there's anything ideas that popped up in your head, or something specific that maybe that I left out, you've been through the experience and you're like, I wasn't expecting this, but this happened. We would love to know. Please share. Anyway, in the meantime, I am leaving tomorrow for a month in the van, so no more videos for a while. And I hope you have a great July, and I will see you in August. Bye.